Police are searching for a man who they think hit two businesses in Lexington. The surveillance photos they want you to see coming up.
A local business owner is showing Kentucky State Police just how much they're appreciated. I'll show you how coming up.
This is WKYT News at noon.
Good afternoon from WKYT News. Welcome in. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. We have new details this midday about the suspect involved in a Lexington bank robbery.
It happened just after 9 o'clock this morning at the Fork Bank on New Circle Road near Russell Cave Road. Now we're learning the suspect is also connected to a late-night gas station robbery that happened last evening. WKYT's Mark Barber has the latest on the investigation, and that is our top story at noon. Mark?
The man robbed the Fork Bank here on West New Circle Road about 3 hours ago. Surveillance cameras here got a good look at his face, leading police to believe he is also the same man who hit a Marathon gas station late last night. The man robbed the bank right when it opened this morning. He didn't try to hide his face, and he parked his getaway car right outside the front door.
A male white suspect, 30s, goatee, heavier set, wearing sweats, entered and stated to the clerk that this is a robbery to give him the money.
After the clerk gave him what he wanted, the crook hopped into his car and sped off. Police say there is a distinctive characteristic that makes the car easier to spot.
He entered a black older Nissan Sentra, and it kind of stands out because it has a front passenger red rim tire, so that kind of makes it stick out.
There are two differences between the bank robbery and the gas station robbery. In the Marathon robbery, the man was armed with a knife and he ran off. He didn't jump right into a car. Officers have not seen the robber since he was speeding away from the bank this morning.
I was last seen heading towards the Kentucky Fried Chicken, so we're actively looking for it right now.
To find the robber, officers say they need your help. They want you to take another good look at this picture. They're hoping someone will recognize this man and send in a tip that will lead to his arrest. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you very much. And police say fortunately nobody was hurt during either of those robberies.
A Central Kentucky woman accused of killing her ex-boyfriend faced a judge today to answer to the charges against her. A grand jury indicted Melissa Roberts with murder, but she claims Stephen Strange was abusive and she shot him in self-defense. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is in Powell County now with the very latest on the case. Hillary?
With murder for the shooting death of her boyfriend today here inside of Powell County Circuit Court, the judge entering a not guilty plea on her behalf and saying he is strongly considering lowering her bond. Investigators say Roberts shot Stephen Strange after he came into her home. According to court records at the time of the shooting, Roberts had an emergency protective order out against him. Roberts, who was very emotional at her arraignment, called 911 after the shooting, telling the dispatcher she, quote, just killed the man she loved, end quote. Now, police did not charge her at the time of the shooting, instead deciding to present the case to a grand jury because Roberts said the shooting was self-defense. The grand jury then indicting her on a murder charge yesterday from jail. Roberts explaining Strange was often abusive towards her, something her teenage daughters who came to see their mom in court say they witnessed themselves.
I love Steve, I really did, but I hated the way he acted, so I was really mixed about everything. I know there's consequences for what you do, but at least give her something. I mean, he never got in trouble for anything he did. Strange's family says they know the two had a very difficult relationship and that they do not hold any hateful feelings towards Roberts. However, they do say they hope to see justice served. In Powell County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Thank you, Hillary. The judge is considering a bond reduction for Roberts, who family members say suffers from Graves' disease. Roberts' mother says her daughter is not in good health, having recently finished a round of radiation. A man accused of holding up a Central Kentucky grocery store is behind bars this midday. Daniel Stidham was arrested in connection with the armed robbery at the Kroger store on South Main in Nicholasville. Police say he asked a cashier at the self-checkout line for change for a $50 bill. When the cashier opened the drawer, police say Stidham pulled out a knife and demanded all the money inside.
Well, you may want to find a pool, a lake, a cool place to stay, at least some shade, because we are tracking heat and humidity for the rest of the work week and right into the weekend. It's going to chase us. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris is live at our First Alert Weather Center to tell us how hot things are going to get.
Boy, you can feel it outside, can't you? You get into the rest of the afternoon, we're already in the mid-80s. We'll finish off right around 90 degrees, a lot of sunshine. I do want to tell you this, that we're not out of the woods. I talked about it this morning. It's all about the heat the next 3 to 4 days until we get the few rumbles of thunder there for the weekend. But we still can't rule out a slight chance at a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. It's going to be mainly for far western zones. You get closer to I-65 corridor, that's the better opportunity to see a passing shower or thunderstorm. Temperatures already at 87 degrees in Lexington, 86 now in Richmond and also Danville. We'll finish off right around 90 degrees later on this afternoon. If you do not see the rain, western zones, you have the best chance, but that's still relatively small. Most of us are going to stay dry, and most of us right around 90 degrees. It gets even worse as we head throughout your work week off into your weekend, where we're looking at still triple digits in the forecast for that heat index. I'm going to show you which days I expect that and which days I expect maybe a little rain. That's coming up.
All right, well, you summer lovers out there, enjoy this. It is day 3 of the Republican National Convention in Cleveland. Tonight, we'll be hearing from another one of Donald Trump's family members, as well as his pick to be the next Vice President of the United States. Kenneth Craig is at the Quicken Loans Arena with the details.
It's Mike Pence's big night at the Republican National Convention. The Indiana governor will officially accept his party's nomination for the Vice President of the United States.
It is very humbling for me.
Pence will be the keynote speaker tonight at the convention that so far has been more about Hillary Clinton than the Republican nominee.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie used most of his time on the big stage to attack her.
As to Hillary Clinton, the charge of putting herself ahead of America, guilty or not guilty?
The anti-Hillary tone could change a bit tonight during Governor Pence's speech. Trump selected Pence to help unify Republicans who are weary of Trump's conservative credentials.
Because of his popularity within the grassroots of the Republican Party, both in Washington and across the country, we feel he helps us to accelerate the unification of the party.
But some say the empty seats during primetime speeches show party unity is still an issue.
I just think this is a party that is sort of resigned to this nominee, but not excited about him.
But the delegates say that's not necessarily true.
Just because people weren't on the floor didn't mean they weren't actively engaged in the hallway.
Eric Trump will represent the family on stage tonight, telling stories about his father. It's all part of a plan to show the personal side of the Republican nominee. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Cleveland.
And Ivanka Trump will be the last family member to speak at the convention when she introduces her dad tomorrow night. And another Kentucky lawmaker will speak at the Republican National Convention. That will be this evening. State Senator Ralph Alvarado Jr., a doctor from Winchester, will take the stage. He'll be talking about how he believes the Republican Party is the party of opportunity for voters of all backgrounds, especially Hispanics. The first presidential debate is moving from Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio, to Hofstra University in New York. Wright State's president says his Dayton school is pulling out from hosting because of rising security concerns and rising costs. Hofstra was the site of a 2012 debate between President Obama and Mitt Romney. The debate is set for September 26th and is one of 3 scheduled to take place before the November election. Apparently their costs had gone from like $3.5 million to $8 million. At
different
Wright
concerns.
State. Yes,
you're right.
Well, there is another show of support for Kentucky law enforcement taking place this noon hour at the state capitol.
Domino's Pizza is providing lunch for all Kentucky State Police employees as a way of saying thanks. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain is live in Frankfort with reaction to this act of kindness. Michelle?
Yeah, local Domino's is feeding more than 500 KSP employees today here in Frankfort. As you can see, all this pizza was delivered about an hour ago here to Central Lab. It's all in an effort to show appreciation and support for local law enforcement. The owner of the Frankfort Domino's expects to make 200 to 300 pizzas today for police. This kind act comes as tensions escalate for law enforcement across the country. According to the Officer Down Memorial webpage, 11 officers have died in the line of duty just this month due to gunfire. The Frankfort Domino's owner wants to let police know they have support and that he's thankful for what the officers do for the people of Kentucky.
I just think the police feel they're under attack, and I think they have to worry every time they turn a corner that someone's not there with ill intent. So I definitely want them to know there are people in the community who have their back and support them 100% the way they support us.
Area KSP employees can come get free pizza here at the Central Lab in Frankfort until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Live in Frankfort, Michelle Chamberlain, WKYT.
Thank you, Michelle. And for officers working second and third shifts, Domino's will deliver pizzas to Post 12. If you're not able to make it to either location, the owner says you can stop by Domino's in Frankfort today for a free pizza and a thank you. If you want to brave that heat, the University of Kentucky is inviting folks to come out to Commonwealth Stadium this afternoon to catch Pokemon. UK's Associate Athletics Director says other schools have opened up their stadiums for Pokemon hunting. Now it's the UK's turn to get in on the craze. Commonwealth Stadium will be open from 4:30 to 6:30 this afternoon. Pokemon hunters can park in the red lot and can enter through Gate 9.
All right. And if you can't go, we'll have reports on our evening news. New developments in the alligator attack in Orlando that killed a 2-year-old boy last month. We'll have the latest on that. It's coming up on Kentucky's #1 Midday News.
Also ahead, Hollywood is mourning the death of legendary writer, director, and actor Gary Marshall. We'll take a look back at his vast career next on WKYT. Welcome back to WKYT News at noon. The first funeral will be held Friday for one of 3 Baton Rouge, Louisiana officers killed in an ambush by a gunman Sunday morning.
Last night, the community came together for a rally to support law enforcement officers and to pay their respects to the slain men. Faith and community leaders also gathered at a Baton Rouge church to discuss ways to improve police relations with African Americans. The parents of a little boy who was killed in an alligator attack at a Disney resort say they will not take legal action against the theme park. In a statement, KETV says that Matt and Melissa Graves of Nebraska are planning to set up the Lane Thomas Foundation. The 2-year-old died last month when an alligator pulled him into the water while his family was vacationing at the Grand Floridian Resort. Actress Jennifer Garner is helping raise money for a West Virginia high school that was damaged in last month's deadly flooding.
Garner, who's from the Mountain State, toured several flood-stricken areas over the weekend. Herbert Hoover High School in Charleston was one of the hardest hit, and that building had more than $12 million in damages. The devastating floods killed 23 people across the state and damaged more than 1,200 homes.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Film and television icon Gary Marshall has died. Marshall reportedly died at a hospital in Burbank yesterday due to complications from pneumonia following a recent stroke. He's probably best known for creating shows like Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and Mork and Mindy. He also directed several hit movies, including Pretty Woman and Beaches. A public memorial service is being planned for his birthday, November 13th. Gary Marshall was 81 years old.
I'm Phil Pendleton in Lincoln County at 12:30. A father and son are in jail accused of trying to set a home on fire.
And we're seeing bright blue skies right now, but let me tell you this, we're not out of the woods just yet with a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. There's that slight chance the next few days. It's all about the steam and the heat. We'll get into that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
It is already 87 degrees here in Lexington, and that goes for Frankfort too. Very warm conditions settling in over I-64 and the BG Parkway. But let me tell you this, that's kind of an area I'm watching very closely. And I'll tell you why, because we still have a piece of energy in southern portions of Indiana, and that is continuing to throw off a shower thunderstorm. Closer it gets toward Louisville, the more it just falls apart. But the problem here is we actually have a front located right along that western Kentucky border. And so anything that's going on, you can see where the thunderstorms are firing away. Right along that border, right? Especially to the north of that. Look to the south of it. Very high conditions, Mississippi Valley region. That does swing into our viewing area. This actually moves later on in the work week. And boy, will we be scorching hot later on this, I'd say Friday off into your weekend is your best bet for that. But this is an area, you got to watch out for that across the 65 corridor and even 127. I'd say 127 and back toward the west, which doesn't include a large portion of real estate in our viewing area. It's just a small piece of viewers over toward the far western zones, but I'm not forgetting about you guys. I'm just saying, BG Parkway, I-64, that's your best bet at some rain, at least a passing shower or thunderstorm, but it's still 40%. It is absolutely not a given, not a slam dunk. I'm just saying that's the best chance. You get down toward Lake Cumberland region, then you're talking about even a lesser opportunity of actually seeing one of those rumbles of thunder pass on by. So if you're trying to head out to the lake, get the kids out to the lake, Lake Cumberland, take off, enjoy. Just know there is a very, very small chance that you could quite possibly get a rumble of thunder pass on by. It's not going to ruin your afternoon, I promise. It takes 10, 20 minutes, and it moves on past you. Take off and enjoy. Let's talk about your Friday, because today and tomorrow are basically the same days. You're going to be pretty warm, right around 90 degrees, and also a very slight chance at an afternoon shower thunderstorm. Look at Friday, Lou. Look at all that. You're talking triple digits for your feels-like temperature. This is not your actual temperature. Your actual temperature will be 90 to about 93 degrees. But throw in that moisture, and boom, this is what it's going to feel like when you're walking your dogs around the neighborhood at 5 p.m. there on Friday. Go off toward the weekend, going out to eat 5, 6 p.m. Trying to sit on that patio, it's not going to feel great. We're 104 in Lexington, 105 there in Frankfort, and check out northern Kentucky. 107. That's what's showing up on this particular model. Now, whether it gets up there, it's actually beside the point, because it's still going to be 100 degrees the way it feels at least. So here comes some big time heat. Friday and Saturday, your hottest days in the forecast. It's not about the rain, it's about the heat. There are slight chances each and every single day toward the afternoon, but most of us stay dry all the way through the weekend, guys. A little better opportunity for the weekend. None of this a washout. So just stick to your plans. Just know a lot of water.
Yep.
Stick to them.
Try to go inside as much as possible.
I will get to the point here where it's going to be almost dangerous.
It could be
Everybody
dangerous
needs to be,
this coming weekend.
Be real careful. All right. Thank you very much, Micah. And we hope you stay with us. Well, Buzz is in the house. Coach Mark Stoops knows execution is everything for the Wildcats.
And a former Cat gets his first big payday. Dave Baker's next for sports.
We'll check stocks as we head to break this afternoon. The major market indicators once again climbing and in record territory.
Remember the days of NBA contract negotiations spilling over into the start of training camp? Things like holdouts? Not anymore thanks to that rookie wage scale, but you know what? It allows guys to concentrate on basketball and get paid. Like Wildcat Jamal Murray, who signed his NBA contract with the Denver Nuggets. According to the NBA's rookie wage scale, Murray will make $6.6 million his first 2 seasons with the Nuggets. Denver holds the option on years 3 and 4. Murray was the 7th overall pick in this year's draft and has showed he was more than worth it in the NBA Summer League. Well, UK's Mark Stoops says it's past time for his Wildcats' efforts to produce on-the-field results. But at the same time, he's preaching process. That was the message during a round of interviews yesterday on the ESPN campus in which SEC coaches were participating in what the network calls its car wash. Stoops says effort and execution must be constant.
What have we done? You know, did we increase our capacity to handle more? Can we pay attention to detail for longer periods of time when we're in our meetings and studying film? Can we practice at a high level and have that attention to detail and that focus for an entire practice, for an entire week, for an entire camp? And, you know, how much did we mature in that area?
Certainly that'll be something he'll be watching early tonight on the Big Blue Insider with Dick Gabriel, National College Football writer Mark Blodgett, and more from UK coach Mark Stoops. That's at 6 on 630 WLAP. And guys, that's a look at sports on your Wednesday.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, Buzz. And there's a lot more coming up in the next half hour of WKYT News at noon.
The kickoff to Lexington Restaurant Week will have the delicious details.
A Lexington man has been arrested after police say he was practicing law without a license. Coming up at 12:30, we'll tell you the circumstances that led to his arrest.
Tonight's Powerball jackpot is $361 million, and Friday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $15 million. Stay in the cool and stay with WKYT.